Hello, hello, hello. It is Dr. LaTracy here, and we are in the Black
Hey,
Authors Rock community. And we have our
I'm
winner
sorry. Hold
of
on. I
this.
can't hear you. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry.
We just love technology, you guys. So we have Phillip Rucks
Uh-uh.
on the line. Can you hear me?
Come on.
And I promise, as soon as I said live, that's when the computer volume started messing up.
She was here, man. Okay. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. I can't hear you for some reason. It's technical issues. I'm sorry. Hold on. I'll come back.
Okay, so he's going to come back in and we're going to just have him join when he gets back. But I'm Dr. LaTracy with Black Authors Rock, and I am delighted that our technology is somewhat working. First, it was mine, and then it's his, but we are here. And we are here because Phillip Rucks won our uh, aspiring authors opportunity, which means that we will have a writer's coaching session right here live in the group. And it will give you a little feel about what we will be doing if you become a client. All right, Phillip, you there?
Okay. One more time.
Can you hear me?
I still can't hear you. Excuse me. Oh,
Okay.
dear. What's going on?
All right.
It's
Well,
working
I'm gonna keep
just fine.
talking, and you let me know when you're ready. We're good. We're good. We can do this. So,
Okay. Try now.
hello.
Still can't hear you. Why?
I promise you, it's been funny because we could work this out beforehand.
Okay. Try to say something now.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
There.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh. Can you hear me?
It's funny. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I still can't hear you for some reason.
Okay, so you want to jump out and jump back in?
Yeah, I see your mouth moving, but I just can't hear you. I don't...
This is when my sign language used to work well.
Okay.
Can,
Thanks.
can you hear me?
Okay. Here, I got...
Alrighty. I'm not sure what's going on. Technology is so funny because mine wouldn't work and then his wouldn't work. And we are really trying to make this work. So if it doesn't work, then what we're going to do is pre-record it, upload it, and then come back and answer any questions that you may have because we are ready to make this happen. But he is all the way in Korea. So, the world. Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yes. Okay. So the funny part is that I'm on the East Coast and he's in Korea. And it's like 8:26 my time. And
9:20 over.
yeah, in the morning. And so we pulled it off and we got it working. So I'm excited because I tell you, Black people, we are very innovative and we will make something happen if we need to.
Ain't that the truth?
Yes. So one of the things that I wanted to do first was to congratulate you.
All right, thank you.
For many of you who do not know, like I mentioned, that Phillip is our winner for the Aspiring Authors Opportunity. And we at Black Authors Rock, we will support our very own. So I'm going to first start off by not only congratulating, and then secondly, I will be putting his links to his previous book in the comment section. And then once you jump on, purchase his books, support him. He has a flash sale going on right now, but you're going to love this segment. A lot of people didn't join the contest because they had already had a book out. Well, Phillip already had one out and it didn't stop him. So I love it. So Phillip, you're the Blurred Explorer.
Yep.
So tell people who you are before we get started.
Sure. I said my name. I go by the Blurred Explorer. Hashtag. My Instagram is also at the Blurred Explorer. So my content is mostly about Black travel with a focus on gaming, anime, all geeky stuff, things like that nature. My focus, my main goal for my travel content is I want to inspire more Black people, particularly African Americans, to travel the world, to see the world. Because from my personal experience, and also I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one who thinks this, I don't know many Black people who have traveled outside the United States. Usually those who have were always in the military, right? Or at
Mhm.
least it was for business. Other than that, I barely know any Black people who've done it just for the fun of it. So I've been in South Korea since May of 2016, working as an ESL teacher. And recently, I actually just moved to Incheon back in March of 2020 to start a public school gig. But thanks to you know what, it's kind of got in the way of the job. And I guess you can say I've been kind of furloughed since July of 2020. So I took that time to write the book, do research to help me not only distract me, but also give me a chance to make some money on the side. So that hence why I created this book, published this guide.
That is so funny that you said to
Yeah.
distract you.
Yeah. I need a distraction when you're stuck at home, not working, not teaching. It's like you gotta have something to do to keep you busy.
Most definitely. A lot of us can relate to that even now.
Yes.
So, yeah, so
Yes.
I thank you for taking the chance and getting on and just stepping out there because that's what the first step is to writing a book. You may not know
Yeah.
who's going to order your book, who's going to support you, and it may or may not even be family.
That's true. But the main reason I wanted to create this, why is more focused on Black travel, is because there's a lack of Black travel content, right? As you and me talked before, when you look online, there are some Black travel YouTubers, bloggers, Instagrammers, and that's great. But
Mhm.
compared to the rest of the other travel content, mostly white people, which again, some of them I love their content, right? But sometimes we need to see somebody who looks like us with your hairstyle, with my hairstyle, who's been to the ring, who's been to said Thailand or Mexico, because obviously, like say Hunter, white guy, he may have different experience than me, because obviously I see that more than he would.
Mhm.
And like, well, as I mentioned in my book, I get stared at so hard as a Black man. Like Black people, we will get stared at more than a white person. So that's
That
why I
is
focus. That's why I want to focus on the Black travel, because obviously I want people to know that you will have this experience. You will get the most looks compared to everybody else. And it's all out of curiosity. There's no malice, no ill will behind it. It's just, holy crap, there's a Black man here in Asia, in Korea. So that's why I want to focus on that.
awesome. So, one of the things that we do at Black Authors Rock when we begin the process as an individual's writing coach is we figure out where they are and their why. Because your why is
Right.
going to be the first thing that keeps you when no one's buying your book.
Right.
Because it's going to be a season. Um,
Yeah.
and it doesn't matter whether it's COVID or not. Even before COVID, people struggled with purchasing books. I mean, just like you mentioned about Blacks traveling, there is a stigma about Blacks not reading. So we're here to tackle both. And
Okay.
I love it. So the first thing that we do is we identify your why. And we've just
Okay.
done that. And then the topic of your newest book is what?
So I just finished the first book, the city of Incheon. Now I'm looking at the fourth largest city called Daegu, which is like kind of in the middle of South Korea. Our main focus reason I wanted to focus on the cities that aren't as talked about, because the city is the capital of Seoul as well as the city of Busan. Like those cities are they're pretty oversaturated. Like you can find almost anything for the city of Seoul, especially because that's like you'll find anything about Seoul, but usually there's always not enough love for say Incheon or especially in Daegu too. It's not talked about as often. So I figured, hey, why not give those cities a shot? And plus, admittedly, I am biased. I do love Daegu more than Seoul.
Yes.
And plus, I think that'll make it the book stand out a little bit more compared to say, oh, there's another travel guide about Seoul and the sea of other Seoul travel guides and whatnot. So hopes to make it stand out compared to the others in the market.
There you go. That is another tip for those who are taking notes. Make sure that whatever you are writing about stands out in the market. And also, you need to know who your target audience is or your target
Right.
reader. Like you mentioned, it's Black people who travel. And you are very specific with that because there aren't a lot of people that are of color that do travel that are not in military. So that is another
Right.
thing you have to identify when you're writing.
Right.
An-
Now, I also do made it to tailor to make sure it's fine for non-black readers. Like, I had a friend of mine, Tanner, who bought the book. He said he found it useful, and he's white, and he said that he found it more useful than as somebody who could also read and have fun with it too. So, and also I found something interesting. I found this YouTuber who said black people in UK don't travel as often too. So that threw me a surprise. And I also had a black British friend who I played video games with too in Seoul. He said he had that same question: why do you tailor it to African Americans? Why not just all black people? And I already answered that question because I told him, like I said before, most of the time African Americans don't really travel as often. Usually, those who do are in the military.
That's right. So there's a lot of
Yep.
different layers to writing a book. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And like I said, of course, there are exceptions. There are those who have traveled before for fun, but usually those are pretty rare.
There you go. And so, just like Philip mentioned, there are different layers to who you are writing to and who will purchase your book. And so you have to identify those things even before you write your first word. And
Right.
so pick up the nuggets, you guys, because we're going to work through this. And we're doing it live because I wanted you to understand that it's not as difficult as some people think when they are writing a book.
Right. Immediately, I thought it was gonna be challenged. I thought myself, I'll never ever write a book. I'm not that literate. I'm not that book smart. I guess in a way to write a book. But I think the main thing everybody should know is take your time with it. You don't have to rush.
Mm-hmm.
Also plan things out. Plan out your chapters. Plan out the outline for writing a book, just like you did in high school and college. You always want to plan it out. You don't want to just write something. And also make sure the content is quality. Like definitely have quality over quantity. Because obviously, if your content is boring, if readers can tell when you buy a product or service, people can tell if the quality of the product is terrible right out the get go. So
And
that's
those
what's
reviews will happen. Yes.
yeah,
You will get more bad reviews than you get the good ones because people know how to spread the negative stuff.
that's true.
Before we move on, we have a question. Cynthia
Sure.
asked, "How are you sure that you have your target audience right?"
Well, I mean, I can't speak on the other genres, so I'll be honest up front. So I'll admit when that's something that's I don't know. But for me, I know travel content because obviously my blog is about travel content and something. And I have seen visually when I travel, I don't see as many black people. Of course, when it comes to travel, everyone has their own time off. So obviously, I make travel to say Tokyo one week, there's no black people, but the next week when I go back home to Korea, there's more black people who show up. So everybody, because I know again, everybody's going to be different for each genre. So definitely want to know your genre. If yours is romance, what kind of romance do black people, if black women or black men, what kind of romance genres do people love? Do they like, your typical love genres, flowers, roses, or do they want like that bad boy-ish type of person? So it depends on what your genre is. Know your genre in and out, even if it's not for black people, just try to look at it's like what the general scope is of that genre. What do people like about that genre, and try to study it. I guess is what I want to say.
Awesome answer. From our perspective, when you are writing and you are identifying who your target audience is, you
Mm-hmm.
will identify who your avatar is. So
Right.
having an avatar is your specific person that you are speaking to when you are writing and when you are marketing. And we
Right.
also have a marketing team within Black Authors Rock. When you are specific in your avatar, you have to
Mm-hmm.
identify their age, where they shop, their
Right.
the are they male, female, all of those different things you will identify. And so working with
Right.
us, we will work with you one-on-one so that you can identify who your target reader is and your target
Mm-hmm.
audience because it is different. You may have a
Yeah.
target audience that is the overall people that you will write to, but your
Right.
target reader is the one who's going to pay for your book. So it can be a
Right.
little different, and you just have to know. But I do love
Yeah.
the fact that we're having questions come in. So those that are watching and those who will be watching the replay, please ask your questions because that's why we're here. So
Sure. Sure.
one of the things that Phillip won was not only this interview, but he won the complete writing uh, coaching because there are so many people, even though he's written a book, there may be some things that he did not experience or some things that he wants to do differently. Like right now, he's in the middle of a flash sale for his current book. Well, he can also do a pre sale for his upcoming book.
Right.
There are different things that you can do so that you can gain engagement and get some money to help you with the publishing process. So there are a whole lot of different things that we discussed during our writing coaching period. So
Right.
don't get discouraged. Just keep writing.
Right.
So,
And that, oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Actually, if, yeah. So actually, when I came up with the idea, this was back in May of this year, 2020. I actually wrote down like a little early rough draft, a sample draft, to send out to other people, some friends and family, to see if there was an audience and people liked it. And of course, I got very positive feedback, even from a good friend, my friend of mine, Brandon, who lives in Korea, to another Black man who lives in Korea, who works as a teacher and also knows how to speak Japanese and Korean. Fun fact. He actually gave me some viewpoints. He liked the idea of the book. He thinks like this is a good idea. Obviously, being a draft, it still needs polish, still needs work. So maybe another thing you could do is send out some sample drafts, like initial drafts of your book. It doesn't have to be the full book, of course. Just say, okay, the first 2 chapters of your book, if it's completed, to kind of get a gauge of your audience. If people think, okay, this is a good idea, I like this, great. Then move on, build off of that. If not, then okay, go back to the drawing board and see what can you do to make it better. So that's what I did with mine.
Awesome. Yes, the beta readers are
Yeah.
essential. You having a launch team is very, very important. And proofreaders. It's a difference between a proofreader and an editor. And a lot of people don't know that. And so we educate you on what those are and why you need them and why just getting your book edited one time is not enough.
Right. Admittedly, I'll admit to that. Being my first book and also with a limited budget, I did go editing one time and go after and published it. So obviously, admittedly, I will admit that's okay. Next time, I'll try to get more edits in to make sure it's up to standard, up to par. But obviously, being my first book, I'm still learning. I still want to grow, and I also want to make sure my book, the next few books, if I do write, I want to make sure there's quality behind it. That people say, okay, first book, fair enough. It's first book, we'll let it slide. Next book, okay, we expect you to do better.
I love that you mentioned that because done is better than perfect. And a lot
Yeah,
of people are discouraged because they want things to be perfect.
yeah.
Me,
I mean,
myself,
I did too.
yeah,
Yeah.
personally, I wrote a book back in 2012. I relaunched
Mm-hmm.
that book back in 2016. And when I relaunched that book, I changed
Mm-hmm.
the cover, I had the editing redone, and I made over $10,000 in one weekend over that book.
Oh my God, I wish I had that money.
Yes, it was. I mean, the whole marketing tactic was amazing. And so I realized that when you complete something, that's an accomplishment. So create those milestones and don't
Right,
get discouraged because we all have, those moments where things are crazy or money is funny and we're not able to finish the way that we want to. So
right,
don't get discouraged and just finish. And if you
right,
need then ask for it. That's what this community is for. And so we take pride in supporting and assisting. So if you have any questions, we will ask. We'll answer those questions. And we also have the 15-minute free consultation. But if you want to dig deep into your book project, then that's the next step is our writing coaching and our publishing packages. You had
right.
touched on something about the outline, and that's the next topic I wanted to shift into. Why did you decide to outline your book?
Well, for one, I just don't want to like just sit at the computer and just type something out without knowing what the heck I'm doing. I feel like honestly, even back in college when I wrote essays, I always feel like outline's more important because that gives me a little set of guidance. So okay, I want to go. For example, when I did Incheon, I was looking at different locations. Where should people go visit? So the reason I picked, it wasn't in order, of course. So what I did was, okay, let's check out this city. Let's go to Chinatown here. I'll put Chinatown here. I'll put this hiking trail here. Again, just more like to give me an idea of, okay, I know what I want to go. I know what I want to talk about, and I know, okay, that let's make sure we know what we're talking about. I know when and where I want to go check out these areas to see for myself for research, of course. So that way I have more control because honestly, I'm not the type of person who can just write something in one day. Like you see in most media content, I prefer taking my time with making a book, with making my blogs and my stories to make sure I know I feel comfortable making a quality product. Because if I just wrote something in one day, I'm not going to be happy with it.
There you go. And when we are going through our writing process, one of the things that we do is brain dumping and mind mapping. And it's very
Yep.
important to get everything out of your head concerning that one book topic. Because
That's
if
what.
no,
No, go. Please continue.
I'm
No,
sorry.
please continue.
Oh,
No, please continue.
if you don't, then you're going to leave something out, and then it's going to be an issue later, or you're going to come back and say, "Oh, I want to add that to this chapter," and the book is already done. I mean, then you're going to have to
Right.
come back and do another volume. So it's nothing wrong with completing it, but making sure that you have just dumped all your ideas. They don't have to all be included in the book. You can
Right.
actually, after dumping all your ideas, you can come up with like 3 to 4 different book projects. You just never know. And so one of the
Right.
things we do in this process is we go through the brain dumping and the mind
Mhm.
mapping so that we can create the outline for the book.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, that's what I kind of did when I first came up with the idea. I was actually working in my school. I was sitting desk forming, and I came up with the idea. So that's what I did: is just wrote down what I knew about certain locations, like
Mhm.
where I live. Now, there's a famous little canal area, which is very nice. People love to walk around. So what I did was I wrote down Cheongnan Canal, and then wrote down little bullets about what I knew about the area. So that's what I did to build off that. And same thing with other locations. When I went to Chinatown to take pictures, I took down notes in Google Docs, Google Mobile Docs. Took down notes what I knew about the area, and then of course when I came back to sit down to officially write the book, I had my bullet points ready to go and just kind
Mhm.
of built to
There you
make
go.
it coherent. And of
That is
course that took me 2-3 months to finish the book. But again, it's more taking my time with it. Like one day I went out to do research photography. 2 days later, I sat down to write down the book, write down my notes to make the paragraphs. So again, take your time with the outline. Take your time with the writing process. You don't have to rush it. That's what I feel my mistake was. I rushed it, and I
well.
kind of burnt out because I took out one chapter I wanted to originally put in, but I figured okay, I got enough. And right now, I kind of wish I put that in the chapter. I wish I put it in the book, the first book. But again, that's what the outline's for: is take your time with it, write it down, and hopefully that'll help you.
Love it. Okay. What is one thing that you wish you knew about the entire publishing process
Mm.
now that you've
I
done it?
would I would say definitely more research. Like I would say, look at the finances because obviously you need to pay for the artists and also the editors and stuff for the cover. Um, Definitely because for me, honestly, I went in thinking, look at my bank account, thinking, okay, I thought I could do this, but really, I probably shouldn't have rushed into it when I knew I didn't have the money for it at the time. And thankfully, the editor and the artist, well, the editor I knew, I worked with, I'm a childhood friend with, she was understanding, was willing to work with me, of course. But definitely look at your budget, look how much you're willing to spend for the editor and the art and the cover book, ebook cover for your cover book. Now, if your budget is at the moment $200 at best, work with what you got. Don't think you gotta spend $5,000 or $100,000 for a cover book or editor. Like just work for, especially if it's your first book. if you can only afford, say, $200 for the editor and for the artist, work with that. That's fine. At least, again, that's just your first book, and then for the next book, next few books you want to write about, then you can say, okay, let's increase the budget a little bit to get higher quality covers and editors to make sure again, it's the first book. You're gonna learn from this and then grow from that, I guess. Another thing I would say is not pre-orders. Market your book in advance. Say, okay, a month in advance. Then because what I did was I kind of marketed it as I went along, but I didn't push harder for marketing. Like try to get not like it was more like in your face kind of way, but more like let people know, hey, I got a new book coming out. Like even in your circle of Facebook friends and family, just let people know, hey, I got a new book coming out. Here's a cover. And then as time goes on, maybe send out demos, like publish a demo on your website. If you have a website, create one, and then make post like a chapter, a couple of pages of that demo on your website to get people interested to see, okay, I like what I got. I like what you see. I'll wait till it comes out, and then obviously let people know.
I love that. So you touched on a lot of things.
Yes.
Marketing.
Marketing. That's what I'm having too right now, because admittedly, I'm a little bit unique because in South Korea, both visa laws and also job contract, legally, I'm not allowed to have a side hustle, so I'm kind of hesitant about promotion. Because obviously, unfortunately, in South Korea, if I work hard to make money on the side, I could lose my job, literally. So I'm kind of hesitant about showing my face, about promoting my content, because obviously, I gotta be careful over here. But if you're not like me, if you're still working your job back home in America, or wherever you are, just do whatever. Get your face out there. Like show people who you are. Show people what you're doing. And again, marketing is admittedly the worst and the most difficult part. Again, because obviously it's constant. You got to keep. And I'm a marketing major myself. I know I got to keep promoting my book. Like with my Instagram, I show pictures of what I do on a regular places I go to. I also mention my book too, because again, I want to promote. Also, PM people in your audience or in your industry, like my travel content. I've been promoting DMing people on Instagram, various Black travelers, travel bloggers, to see if they would be interested in checking out a review copy of my book, and most of them have said yes. And so far, they have had a positive experience with the book too. So again, marketing, I would say marketing will be the challenge for everybody for sure. But don't let it get to you. There's always ways to promote your book. Just get it out there. That's the challenge for you.
I love that you mentioned that. And so we work through that entire process while we're going through the writing coaching, because we also have the marketing department within Black Authors Rock, and we support you throughout the entire process. So you don't have to feel like you're alone. Most publishing companies that assist self-published authors or those who are working with a hybrid company such as Black Authors Rock, they do not understand the importance behind publishing and promotion and marketing. So that is one thing that we identify, and we just figure out where you are and what you need, because so many people jumped on that train for publishing on Amazon, especially when Amazon was using CreateSpace and now KDP. They're like, oh yeah, I got to do it. I got to get out here and publish my book. But they're not looking at the importance of getting their own website, selling their own book. Because if you use another company, you have to invest, or they're going to take their money off the top. So it's a lot of things that you don't really know about, and it's okay not to know. That's why we're in this community, so that we can support you and educate you in where you are. And so that is one of the main reasons why being an author and supporting other Black authors is important. So we are going to go through our process outside of this interview. But what is one thing that you would like to leave with the audience?
I would say just don't give up. If you think you have an idea for a book or a graphic novel or whatever, just go ahead and do it. Just now, remember, always take your time with it. If you want to set a timeline, say, hey, I want to get this book out within a year or so, go for it. Make sure you have a timeline and stick to that. But if you feel that you got the free time to stretch it out, you want to do that, go ahead and do that. Make a plan. Take your time with it. Look around when you get close to finishing the book. Look for it. Look for your ebook cover for your art. For those who wanted for graphic novels, I use Instagram. I found my cover book. I got lucky with my guy because he actually lives in Korea, so he understands the culture and stuff. So if
Oh,
you can
wow.
find, yeah. So I got lucky on that. If you are able to find somebody who understands, like, if your book is for a black audience, look for black artists and actually don't cheap out. Actually pay for the services because again, they got to eat too. But also, it helps to have somebody who knows the culture to with the cover and editing. So if you want to use a black editor, use a black editor because they understand what it's like to be. They understand the mindset of a black person. They understand the struggles, so they have an insight into what's like your character. If your character is black, get a black editor. They understand what it's like to be black. What's like to have afros and such. If you have any other questions, please message me or DM me on Instagram and whatnot.
Love it. Yes. And so we will make sure that Philip's information is on all the platforms that we have mentioned or are broadcasting live. And go and support him. He's having a flash sale this weekend. We have posted the Google Play as well as the Amazon flash sale for this weekend. It starts now. We are here.
Yep, for $1.
$1, right? You can look. That's cheaper than a hamburger. So
Yeah, that's true.
let's go ahead and support. We look forward to supporting Philip in his process. And we thank you all for joining us. Just know that Black Authors Rock is a full service coaching, consulting, and publishing firm. Just like Philip mentioned, having a Black editor or having a Black designer or having a Black publisher or a Black writing coach, we're Black and we work with other Black writers. And so wherever you are in the process, we are here. And it's an amazing one-stop shop. And so everything you need is in the building. And so all you have to do is ask the questions, join our community, and continue to stay connected. And so we will be purchasing some of Philip's books and sharing them throughout
Yep.
the group. But we also encourage you all to go and purchase as well. And we look forward to supporting you all in your writing process. Thank you, Philip, so much for stepping up and winning. And we can schedule off.
Thanks for me. Thanks for choosing me. I was surprised to hear the announcement. I'm like, what? I woke up, I think it was Wednesday morning, seeing my tag and seeing I won. I'm like, wow, I didn't think I was going to win.
See, that's it. And when he said he was in Korea, I was like, wait a minute, what? Are you military?
Yeah.
Because that is the first mindset. And so we have to change the narrative for our Black authors and the Black writers. Because that was the first thing I did was traveling military. So he's changing that narrative.
Also, if you're saying also, if you're Black and you don't have a passport, go get one, especially with what's going on back home in America. But no, don't be afraid to travel. Like, look at other countries. Like, we need more Black people out here around the world because honestly, again, most people in Asia, Southeast Asia, they don't know anything about Black culture or Black people except what they see on TV. Even my students, true story, I mentioned in my book, before when I came to Korea, I was known as LeBron teacher or Obama teacher. Yeah, so now after when Black Panther came out, I'm known as Wakanda teacher or Black Panther teacher. True story. And but again, most of the time, especially when I go to, like, say, video game tournaments, whatnot, most Koreans, they don't know much about Black people. They're afraid of us because again, they never seen or interacted with us. So we need to see more Black people. Like, come on. Plus, I'm kind of tired of being the only Black person at various places. Like, we need a little more color. We need more complexion. Like, if you can't afford a ticket or a passport, sell your Jordans. Like, I told my old friends of mine who had a closet full of Jordans. I know him very well. I told him, man, I know you got a closet full of Jordans. Sell my eBay. So whatever you got, go buy a passport. Go buy a ticket. Go travel. Have fun.
There you go.
And just remember, just remember when I say this, you are a Black ambassador when it comes to Black travel. Because again, how you act will reflect every other Black person. Because again, most people in Asia, South America, they don't interact with people who look like us all the time. So just keep that in mind. Again, if you got any questions, feel free to contact me whenever. I'll try to help you with your writing process or when it comes to travel.
Love it. But you forgot to mention you're 6'7".
Yes, I'm 6'7" / 200 centimeters tall. So of
Yeah,
course,
the tallest
I
over there.
scare were surprised when they hit my height. Even the nurses at the hospitals, they get intimidated by me.
Yeah. Yes. So be the ambassador. That's what we're doing over here, and now we're global. So I love it. So don't
Great.
forget to respect. Oh, I love that comment. Thank you so much. It is very essential that you embrace your writing because it's healing and it
Yeah,
can give you a lot of money, a lot of good money, and a lot of impact out there. And it's okay.
I'm
Give
sure.
yourself some grace. It's okay to take your time. It's okay to ask for help, and it's okay to make mistakes. It really, really is. I've made multiples. So, and that's one of the reasons why this community has started, so that we don't have to, we, as in our people, don't have to continue to make those same costly mistakes. So, thank you
Right.
all
And,
for joining us. Go
yeah,
ahead.
thank you for joining. Thanks for the interview.
You are welcome. You guys go ahead and support Phillip, and we will be in touch. You have a great night.
Take care, y'all.